So life update. I'm living in my car. My little S10. This is me. Stay home for the foreseeable future. And yeah, I don't know what to do. And I don't really have anyone. I toured 2 apartments yesterday. I won't qualify for them because you have to make 2.5 times the over $1,200 rent a month. And I don't even make the rent a month. I've never been homeless.
By the way, imagine how much more affordable housing would be for people like this, presumably an American citizen, if we freed up 25 million housing units that are currently being occupied by the 100 million illegal migrant third world invaders in our nation. You think the rent would still be $1,200 a month? Think it might be more affordable then?
But you know what? This is a really good story. Like, I can only go, I could go down, but like, I'm gonna go up from here. Cause then, like, I'm broke and homeless at 21. But like, that makes for such a good story. When I'm like super successful and rich and like doing so well and have so many people. I'm gonna have such a bomb starter story. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like, I was broke and homeless at 21.
All right. So I don't know when she's going to get to the student loan part of all that. But of course, a lot of the reason people are in this situation is they took out a lot of money for student loans. They're supposed to pay back. They can't afford to pay it back. They can't afford their rent. And by the way, for all the smug boomers out there, these people are going to be voting. And if we don't figure out a solution that's practical, you think they're not going to come after your 401ks? You think they can't vote themselves largesse out of your retirement accounts? You think they can't vote to leverage huge taxes on your assets, on your homes that have appreciated so much? I don't think it's a smart strategy for the boomers, for those who have secured economic security in America, to just tell these people to go screw. I don't think that's political reality. Yes, they made bad decisions. They took out these loans. These loans are far more their responsibility than they are ours. They're not my responsibility at all. But I would suggest they were subject to predation. So what do we do about this? Oh, and the point I wanted to make is it's not just them who is suffering from this. If people are left destitute because of these predatory student loans, it is damaging to the national economy and the national security of America. If people are broke, they're not buying homes, unaffordable homes. Don't we want homeowners? If people are broke, they're not buying cars. They're not buying washing machines. They're not spending money in the economy. And every dollar that's spent in the economy tends to have a cascade effect, right? You buy a car, salesman gets a commission. He spends that money someplace else, who then spends that money someplace else, who then spends that money someplace else. Money cascades through our national economy. But by the same token, the money that's never put in the first place doesn't cascade anywhere. The waterfall is turned off. Why? Because the university college industrial complex stole that money. It didn't just steal it from the students, took it from them without giving them anything of commensurate value. Pure predatory exploitation. It didn't just steal it from the students, it stole it from every other aspect of the national economy through which that money would have otherwise cascaded. When the student bought a home, bought a car, bought a washing machine, bought clothes, it's all gone. No one's benefiting from that cascade of monetary expenditure because the money was sucked up by the university college industrial complex. And as you can probably tell from my tone of voice, that's where I think everybody should go to collect the money back. I think these students have a legitimate grievance. They were lied to. They were led down a primrose path and then abandoned in the wilderness. They were stripped of a lifetime of resources. They were essentially made indentured servants, slaves to the university college industrial complex. So all those administrators could collect their hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So universities could have almost as many DEI staff as they have students. That's how this money was spent. I think those students have a grievance. I think they're entitled to have their damages made good, but not from the American taxpayer. I think they should collect their damages from the people who caused them the damage. They should collect their stolen resources from the people who stole it, from the university college industrial complex. Congress should create a cause of action, a basis for a civil lawsuit in federal court against these people who defrauded these students. It wouldn't be hard to come up with an algorithm that says, all right, they were compelled. Compelled's too strong a word. They were induced to take out $100,000 in loans. What actually happened to their ability, their economic ability, to generate the return resources necessary to pay a loan like back then? In other words, do what should have been done in the first place. Do it retroactively, unfortunately, but compel the university to have skin in the game. If they induce students to borrow a ton of money and those students go out and make even more, can pay the loan back, great, win-win for everybody. But if they induce these students to borrow a ton of money and that leaves the students impoverished, those universities should have skin in the game. Now, of course, we know the reality is if the university had skin in the game, they would never engage in this conduct. They only engage in this kind of predatory student loan processing because they're going to get all the money and incur none of the risk. If the universities had to incur the risk, they would never do it. It would be unaffordable. They can only do this because they know it's the student who will pay the cost. Let's not allow that. And we that should have been built into the system in the first place. But of course, then we wouldn't have the university college industrial complex. We only have it. It only exists because this giant pool of future resources was allowed to be created through this loan system to funnel, to transfer a generational amount of resources from 18-year-old college students to mature, predatory university college industrial complex administrators. If a foreign nation had done to these students and to our American economy what these university administrators have done, it would be an act of war. And we should treat it as an act of war. Each of these students should have a cause of action in federal court, including reimbursement for legal expenses for all these predatory loans that benefited these universities. Even further, these universities collectively have billions and billions and billions of dollars in endowments. Why is that just sitting there? Why are they allowed? Why is the university college industrial complex allowed to engage in these predatory practices against these students specifically, individually, and against the American economy as a whole, steal these vast stores of resources for themselves, for their administrative, bureaucratic, DEI political class, and still keep billions of dollars in endowments? How about a 50% tax on endowments? And we can use that to offset the cost of predatory student loans. Sounds reasonable to me. By the way, any benefit provided should go simultaneously to students who have loans outstanding and to students who've paid off their loans. Those people should not be screwed either. I paid off mine. But that's the solution to the student loan crisis, is to go after the people who stole the money. If the local town bank is robbed, you don't go and take money from all the homeowners in town to refill the bank's vault. You go after the bank thieves. And the thieves here are the university college industrial complex. And they should be pursued ruthlessly by a posse determined to seize that money back.
Thanks for watching this highlight segment of our full-length Law of Self-Defense live stream.
If you enjoyed this content, make sure to give us a like and subscribe for more expert analysis on politics, law, and how to be hard to convict. And to watch the full-length episode of this show, just click right here. Stay safe.